Good morning, friends. It's Joe. Welcome to my scripture reflection for Thursday, September the 21st. Hope all is well with you on this Thursday morning. Went to the gym this morning as I try to do most mornings. I usually go now back at the early hour of about 10 after 5. It's a great experience. I enjoy it very much. This morning I saw a bunch of people coming in. It was more crowded than it's been in a long time. A good sign, people coming in to work out. Sometimes you can look at it in a sense that, oh, gee, it's crowded in here. I wish there wasn't so many people, but maybe it's better to look at them and say, yeah, I'm better that they're here than they're not because it really helps everybody if people are starting to get back into self-care and self-compassion. So, just a thought. I tried to think that way as I was watching all these people come in this morning. And as I always say, we try to steer our thoughts in the right direction. So, with that in mind, I'm going to ask you to quiet your minds and hearts as we prepare to hear today's gospel, which is from St. Matthew, chapter 9, verses 9 through 13. As Jesus passed by, he saw a man named Matthew sitting at the customs post. He said to him, "Follow me." And he got up and followed him. While he was at table in his house, many tax collectors and sinners came and sat with Jesus and his disciples. The Pharisees saw this and said to his disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" He heard this and said, "Those who are well do not need a physician, but the sick do. Go and learn the meaning of the words, 'I desire mercy, not sacrifice.' I did not come to call the righteous, but the sinners." So today the Christian church celebrates the feast of St. Matthew, obviously a saint and an apostle of Jesus. St. Matthew, just like all the other saints, were sinners at one time. St. Matthew was a tax collector. He did some not so good things with money. St. Paul used to beat people to death who weren't like him religiously. St. Peter had a temper that was out of control and was very hard-headed, apparently. And the list goes on. So every saint was a sinner, and guess what? Every sinner can be a saint. That means you and I can too. I find it interesting that St. Matthew was able to write his own story. He wrote his own autobiography. And isn't that wonderful? And we say to ourselves, well, I wonder if we could do that. Well, we can. We can. And maybe no one is going to have the ceremony to make us a saint somewhere down the road, but we can certainly do things to march in that direction because, as I said, we are all sinners and we all have the capability to do so. So we could write our own autobiography as well and say to ourselves, yes, I am going to pursue this life. And the first thing that we have to do, the first order of business in this syllabus, is to say, I'm following Jesus. Yes, I am. Just like St. Matthew did in the gospel. He got up and he followed him. Now, it's important here to say that following Jesus means what is important to you? What is in your heart that needs to be done? I think one of the unfortunate things that we hear too much is we are told what to do by others. No, I think we need to ascertain all of the possibilities and determine what we need to do. What does our heart need? And that would be a good first step. The second one is a little sobering, but it's important. Acknowledge our sinfulness. Yes, it's not a big deal. It's not a problem. As I've said many times in sermons and homilies, sinning isn't a problem. It's to deny that you sin is a problem. So to say, hey, look, here they are. You don't have to say it to anybody else. Say it to yourself and to God. Here they are lined up. These are my shortcomings. Okay, now we need to work on them. And that would be syllabus item number 2. And then syllabus item number 3, I think is the most important. And that's to take those things that you are maybe the most dealing with in this point in your life and you have in your life and say to yourself, how am I going to add value to God and my relationship with God and others by these things that I've experienced? They're there for a reason. St. Matthew turned it around and didn't use anymore the bad parts of using money. He became the positive treasurer, if you will, of the apostles. St. Paul, he gave up in killing people, thankfully, and he stood up for people who were of different faiths and brought them together. And that list goes on too, and it can apply to us. So there's things within our nature, our shortcomings, our sinfulness that we can take and add value to our relationship with God and others. These are not difficult things, and they all require an internal look at our own heart and soul and saying, yeah, I really do want to give this a try. 3-step syllabus is what I call it to sainthood. Let's give it a try and let's see how it works. But it takes a daily consistency. Are you game? I hope so, and I have faith that you are. Well, my friends, that's my message for you on this Thursday morning. I hope it was helpful. I always welcome your comments and your thoughts. I appreciate you being here with me. Let us take a moment or two of silence and reflect on what we heard in today's gospel. Most loving God, thank you for the example of the saints. Thank you for helping us to realize that the saints are just like us. We need to make that decision to follow you. Give us that resolve. We need to realize what we do in terms of shortcomings in our life. Give us that honest reflection. And then we need to take that into the world and into our relationship with you. Give us that strength and courage. My friends, I wish you all a wonderful Thursday today, and I hope to see you back here on Sunday. Take care, everyone.